Hey, Jordan, can you guess what I'm holding in my hand right now?
um the fragile hopes and dreams of our podcast.
No, I am currently, Jordan, holding space for Defying Gravity from the 2024 motion picture Wicked, based on the eponymous stage musical of the same name, adapted from the novel, which was released in 1995. Welcome to the 1 hour, one brain cell podcast. All right, everybody, welcome to another edition of the show, episode who knows what anymore. Hope I didn't get that on my laptop, but that's okay.
Who knows? For the record, I think it's 46, but I could be wrong.
40, that sounds about right. There's some spritz that came from my can here.
What are we drinking? What's the beverage of the choice?
This is a new flavor. I haven't tried this. I haven't tried this flavor yet. This is
Accelerator. Okay.
berry lemonade.
I don't know why, but something about the packaging of that makes me feel like it's not safe for human consumption.
Why do you say that? 'Cause
I don't know. There's something about it that feels like
it's purple.
it's a
but
it's a
lemonade.
fake it looks like it's a fake product. Like it was created as a prop for the stage and the screen and not a mass market energy drink product. It's that can of Pepsi that she refuses to open in Madame Web because they only set dress one.
Right. Yes. This is actually really good. I recommend it. It's quite good.
There you go.
Very refreshing. Okay. Welcome to the show, everybody. I'm joined by my co-host Jordan, who is holding up a prop, which I'm glad you had ready for the show. I don't know how you managed to do that.
I wasn't expecting to burn it this early, but I do have the Wicked book. It's paired with the other one by this author, and it's hefty. It's like a hardcover bound, But,
dang, that's really cool. I like that.
Yeah, the book is very adult in a way that I was not expecting as someone who just is a fan of the musical, but there's like some real deal violence in this thing. Like don't let your children read this.
No, it is. Yeah.
Yeah. And as always, I'm joined by my fellow industry professional, Orange Cat Richie himself.
I can't imagine naming your cat Richie or Richard. That is too funny. Pets with human names are always so funny to me.
Mm-hmm. that was the consensus that I was exploring getting a little furry friend at some point. And the consensus from the people I asked was that I should give it some really human name like Garth and just make it outrageous. But I'm partial to the ones that are named things like felony tax evasion because I think that's funny. But I don't know what you would call that for short, so we'll workshop it.
There's one. My sister works at one of the like Humane Society, I think, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And she one time sent me a picture of like I think some hamsters or something, and they weren't a dog or cat, but they were like lesser known animal, and their names were like iPhone 16 and iPhone 15 and iPhone 15 Pro or something.
Normalize naming your pets after the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. Like, just.
Yes, exactly. I just can't picture, like you said, having first of all, if you did have a furry friend named Garth, you have to do a second one and name it Wayne. Because you can't have Wayne without Garth.
You can't just have Garth. That doesn't work. Yeah. I don't know how we settled on Garth, by the way. I think that was very out of the blue, but it was like, what was the other one? I was looking at orange ones because, of course, there was one named Fanta, There's one named Gouda, or perhaps Gouda, depending on if you're Max Verstappen or not. Um, but I've told you in the past I thought it would be funny to get an orange one and then name it Gato Award, but I don't
Yes.
know if I don't know if we're going down that path yet. I've heard that you should get an orange at your own peril, so I guess we'll see.
No, I love my orange cat.
I know, but they have a reputation for being crazy.
No, that's not true. Maybe when they're like
It
when he was
depends on the
small,
cat.
when he was small, he was wild, but like he likes to go outside and peruse the neighborhood.
Well, yeah,
And
because
I
yours
won't
is a flirkin, not a cat.
yeah, and I never see him sometimes. I actually saw him. I was over at my parents' house last week and I saw him. He was just like hanging out in the backyard and like one of the bushes, like peering over and just like staring into my soul.
That's a flirkin.
All right, we got a busy show. Hope everybody had a happy Thanksgiving. This show's coming out on Black Friday. So, are you taking advantage of any of the Black Friday sales?
I already have actually, which is
Of course you have.
well, it's indirectly me, but yeah, I've been doing a lot of gift buying for Christmas and things because I was just gone for like a week straight, and then I looked at the calendar and all of a sudden it was November. Well, today's the 25th, and I realized that if I'm trying to bring things with me when I come home for Christmas, I have roughly 20 days to get things here and make that happen. And so I put myself on a little bit of a tight deadline accidentally. So I've been gift buying and taking advantage of some sales on things on Etsy, purchasing hexes and the like from Etsy witches to send to all my closest friends and enemies.
Enemies list.
Haters
I think
list.
that was part. I think that was part of my room, which we talked my house or whatever. My floor plan that was from last week's show. Go back and watch
Oh
it if
yeah,
you didn't see it.
it was something about the I'm right corner or the yeah. That was it. You're holding space to be a hater.
Yes, holding space to be a hater. I have not done any shopping. I hate shopping. I don't do it. I haven't spent any money. So we're good. I'm not doing any shopping, I don't think. Even
Nice.
even for like Black Friday record store day, I don't think I'm gonna be taking a part in that, but you never know.
Mm.
So yeah, save money, folks. Don't give in to capitalism. That's what I say.
As we caved to capitalism this week, purchasing tickets to yet another future event. Listen, if we don't, here's something you should know about us already, but if we don't have something to look forward to about 4 to 5 months in the future, we're not doing well. Like we need little treats to look forward to later on the calendar.
That's that's such a good way to describe it. Little treats, yes.
Yeah, we do. It's treat yourself, but all year round.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Amen to that. We'll get into that a little bit later too. Anyway, yeah, I hope you enjoy your stuffing and your gravy and whatever potatoes. I don't know what people eat on Thanksgiving. Turkey, ham. I sound like that was the most non-human thing I've ever said. If you the conspiracy that I'm not an actual person, that this MFer is not real.
He's not real. He was trained on machine learning to act and mimic human emotions, but he doesn't know what people typically eat for Thanksgiving, so he's just throwing out chat GPT options.
My secret's been found out.
He was planted here. He was planted here by the aliens to collect reconnaissance information on the human race and then ferry it back to wherever he came from.
It only took 46 episodes to do that.
Well, you did pretty well for yourself then, honestly. I would say.
Actually, the ruse lasted longer than I thought.
I would say, yeah.
I am gonna make some pumpkin pie though. I always make pumpkin pie for Thanksgiving.
Nice.
So I'm excited for that. I do need some more ingredients, so hopefully the stores have them. But there was a couple of years ago where I forgot. It was either for Thanksgiving or Christmas, and I forgot that I needed to go and buy pie shells. And so
What did you do?
so by the time like it was like this was like I don't know 2 days before or something, and I was like, crap, I need some pie shells, and we were out of. I was working at Sprouts at the time. We did not have any more left. Like we had sold out of them the week of Thanksgiving, and so I was like, what the hell do we do? And I actually don't even remember what we ended up doing. I think we just we had some other something else. I think instead. I was like, dang it, I'm stupid. But
I was hoping that you were gonna say that you just like loosely baked it in a pie pan and then just scooped it out like filling instead of having a crust.
No crust.
No crust.
Actually,
Pie with no
that would have
crust.
been still just as delicious, to be honest. Anyway, but I was smart, and I went on Sunday, and I went to Fry's, and they had plenty of pie shells, so we are good to go. And then my parents have all of the shenanigans that I need to make it, because I don't have any of that stuff here. I don't have like any of the spices. I ain't got none of that.
No spices? You're a no seasoning household?
I don't really have any. No, I got nothing.
Remind me to never eat chicken at your house.
No. Here's the thing.
Unseasoned chicken.
No, I don't eat unseasoned chicken. Okay, do not make stuff up on the show. Okay, you can't.
You said you don't have any spices.
I did say that, but anytime I make chicken, I always marinate the chicken, and I use the marinades you can buy at the store, and you put them in there for a couple hours, and boom, and it's great.
Okay.
Yeah,
fine. All right.
What do you think? I eat my chicken raw?
No, I just was assuming that since you told me you had no spices, that you were just eating plain unseasoned chicken, which is a crime against humanity, but you wouldn't know because you're not from this planet.
That's so true.
So it's intergalactic crime, and I'm persecuting you personally.
I do hope my parents have the pumpkin filling that I need to make the pie. I'm assuming they do. If not, then we're really screwed. Maybe I should do that today.
You might want to text them because the stores are going to run out. Just so you're aware.
I don't want to do that again. And like, damn it, no pumpkin. What do we do? Oopsie. Okay, anyway.
Just pie crust.
Just
reverse.
It's that meme with Nathan Fielder, and he shows up. What do you have? Nothing.
I hope you're hungry for nothing. It's nun pizza with left beef, but pie style.
Yes. That's a flashback right there, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know even how long ago that was. At the beginning of the year.
It was a long time ago. Yeah.
Yes, it was. All right. Let's actually get to the dang show, for goodness sake, now that we've spent 15 minutes yapping our asses off about approximately nothing. Now, I can't play it because YouTube will get angry at us and like delete our channel at this point. We can at least like hum it. Do 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 do. Max Verstappen. Do 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 do.
Yeah. There's my boy.
Congratulations to the Dutch Lion himself, Max Verstappen. He clinched his 4th consecutive Formula One World Drivers' Championship on Saturday.
Depends on your time zone.
Sunday morning, depending on your time zone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very early Sunday morning in my case. But I woke up and I watched it because I was not about to miss it, just in case. So it was like I don't know. I don't know what the odds are. We apparently had a DIY rear wing for this race. They brought the wrong one, which I don't know whose one job it was to pack the correct wing for this circuit. Apparently, we packed the wrong rear wing for this circuit, and it was too steep. So there was literally a chart comparing straight line speed of Red Bull and Sauber, which is how you know you're in a bad place. So they got out I don't know what it's not a Dremel, but like I don't know what you call it, but they got out like the edge grinder, like the angle grinder, some rotary tool, and DIY cut holes in the rear wing to improve the aero, and it managed to be fine, which is the most hysterical thing to ever happen. Yeah. He didn't win the race, but it didn't really matter because now the points amount is Lando can't catch him.
Correct. And yeah, bad race if you're a fan of the orange ones. They did not fare well at all. They were very slow. They were barely hanging into the back end of the top 10.
Well, I'm not saying it's because they're not allowed to use that cheater wing anymore, but maybe it's because they're not allowed to use that cheater wing anymore because it would have played well on this circuit.
Yes, exactly. Baku was like ridiculous how quick they were. And yeah, they got found out and then like, oops, shocker, you're going to want to, then you come to one of the fastest circuits in the calendar and then they're struggling to find pace in any way, shape or form. So yeah, I missed the race. I didn't get a chance to watch it. I was in a movie theater watching a film, which we'll get to in a little bit. But I did watch like qualifying and I did watch practice and everything. And again, it's like it's just a testament to how good Max Verstappen is as a driver that he took that crap box, which was so slow in every session, qualified it in P5, I think, because I think he qualified, right? P5?
Yep.
Whereas his teammate, Checo Perez, couldn't even make it out of Q1 again. For
okay,
like the
but I
6 or
will
7
say,
yes.
Checo looked more like himself during like the old Checo during the race. He was pulling off some good overtakes. He had good pace. I mean, the car just hasn't been comfortable for either driver all year, and I won't defend that wholeheartedly because like he has been drastically out qualified this year. But the RB20 hasn't been good for either of them. And hopefully fixing that development backslide in the off season will pay dividends for him because he's still got the pace and the racecraft, as we saw, to overtake some drivers and stick the nose of the car in there and make it stick. But that's not helpful for the constructors at all when he's regularly scoring 1 or 0 points and Max is winning races or top fiving. But
Checo had the double overtake of I believe
sick.
Yuki Tsunoda and one of the Alpines, or
it might have been a Haas, I don't know, but
maybe
he had a double overtake. It was crazy.
I think you're right. I think it was a Haas. Yeah, and it was into that like second sector section where they're coming off, and it's a really quick like left-hander, and there's like not space for three cars there, y'all. Like
no,
not
you
at
should
all.
not put 3 cars there.
It's legit one of the toughest parts of the circuit because it's so tight through there, which is obviously what happens on a street circuit. But like, just ridiculous. It was a video game move. It felt like something I would try and do on F1 on the F1 game and fail miserably and take everybody out.
Well, but yeah, it literally was. It was crazy to watch that, and there was some really good racing. There weren't any like red flags or safety cars or anything. It was just 50 laps straight through, good pace, good overtaking from a lot of different drivers, and some fighting between teams. Anyway, but I will give props to Lewis here because Lewis qualified P10 and drug that car all the way up to second within about a 4-second margin of George Russell, who is comfortably out front of the race the whole time. And I genuinely think if he would have just qualified a few places up, he would have overtaken Russell, but he was taking a second out per lap on that last stint on his tires. But I think he drove the tires too hard and then started to lose that pace. But he was catching him. He was within striking distance to the end of the race. And if he had just made up a couple of places in qualifying, he could have won. I think he easily could have won that race. The Mercedes turned into a beast in the cold.
Absolutely. They were so quick. They were the quickest all weekend long. So it's not a shocker that they went 1-2. They very much deserve that. I will say I was bummed that who the hell is calling me? No, I don't want to talk to anybody from Des Moines, Iowa. Go away. I was bummed that like Lewis was quickest in pretty much every. I think in every practice session, maybe FP3 he wasn't quickest, but um, he was probably gonna. I think he was gonna be right there with George for P1 and P2
Mm-hmm.
in Q3. But this is the one time I've been hating on Mercedes all year for how they've handled George and Lewis and how they built the car, et cetera, et cetera. But Q3 was entirely on Lewis. He messed up twice on both of his runs. He messed up, and he went um, wide in one of the turns. I forget what turn it was, but he went off track. And then on the second run, he lost the rear and lost time, and it was over. And he was in P10. So when you texted me that he had a great race, I was very, very happy to see him have the run he did. Should have gotten fastest lap if not for the orange one pitting late to steal the
He had
fastest lap.
11 fastest laps. Like, I think we should just give it to him at that point.
just like Max in Brazil.
Yep, just reeling him off, fastest lap. And he was going to catch George for a long time there. I thought he was going to catch him.
Mm-hmm.
Seemed like a foregone conclusion.
This on the heels of, I don't know if you saw this too, because I know you were busy at your actual job all week, but like this got some run this week again that I even more so. I do not like Toto Wolff. Okay, so I'm gonna read this from the Formula One thing here, Formula1.com. Meanwhile, the publication of a book charting life at Mercedes over the past year has gained plenty of media coverage, particularly a quote from Toto Wolff stating that everyone has a shelf life as Hamilton gets set to swap his longtime employers for Ferrari. And so Toto says this, or gets, it comes out in this book that he says this, and then Lewis goes on and has the drive he does. And once again, I'm so damn glad that Lewis is getting the heck out of there. And he's moving on to Ferrari, who is still contending in the Constructors' Championship. They cut into that lead a little bit more. I believe it's down to like 24, 25 points or something like that. Yeah, it's under 30 points with 2 races and a sprint left to go. So it's still very much in contention. And I think Ferrari has been in much, much better form over the last, like you said, after Baku and McLaren got rid of that wing, Ferrari's probably been the best team on the grid here to close out the season. So heading into 2025, where there's going to be no regulation changes, where things are going to be kind of like it was like a 2024 was A, 2025 is kind of going to be like a B as we get set before the new regulation in 2026. So I'm excited for what Ferrari is going to bring in 2025 with Lewis and Chuck behind the wheel.
It could be a dangerous lineup, but it also could be a clashing of personalities. It could, Ferrari's strategy is always like suspect. So you never know. They have the potential to. They have a high. I'll say they have a high, like a high ceiling there. But they also have the potential to severely underperform what everybody's expecting. So we'll see. We'll see what that looks like.
Yeah, Charles was on the radio after the race complaining about strategy. He was super pissed. I think I missed the race. I kind of watched highlights and I scrubbed through the race, so I didn't really see a lot of what was going on, the full strategy between Charles and Carlos Sainz. That maybe very well could have cost a 2-3 for Ferrari if they maybe get their crap together. So he was pissed on the radio and he was pissed in the interviews. I was watching an interview with him. I think it was in like the bullpen. And he's like, I shouldn't say anything more. I've already said too much.
He was swearing up a storm on the radio, and he doesn't usually. It was a lot, and I will maintain that I think Carlos Sainz deserved a penalty during the race. He started to pit and then backed out of the pit lane really, really late, and crossed the line like right in front of the pit wall bollard there. And it was definitely unsafe, and I think it's pretty explicitly in the rules that you can't do that. But they did say that the pit crew and the pit wall called him off because they weren't ready for him to stop. But we saw the opposite happen where Esteban boxed and no one was there to receive him. There was one mechanic standing in the pit box like, oh, that's our car coming in. So he just essentially had to take his own drive-through penalty for no reason and drive through and then come back in on the next lap, which is horrifying and should never happen. But I'm like the two extremes there of something that should have been a penalty and something that should have been a clean pit stop, because there's always something to talk about with Alpine.
There is. Did I also see that Lance Stroll had no team radio for the entire
That's
race?
what they're saying. They're saying he had no radio the whole time, so he was just like trying to let them know somehow that he was gonna box. Like, sure, yeah. I don't even know what you do in that situation. How do you do that?
That's crazy. I mean, it didn't matter much because he finished like 15th.
That's Lance Stroll. So
yes. Let's talk about Max a little bit more. You were up late, obviously watching the race, and you immediately logged on to Max Verstappen's website to try and buy some merch. Can you please explain what happened?
yeah, and it wasn't even the worst. Like I logged on. I just wanted to see if like they had stuff out yet. So I was checking on like the F1 store. I was checking on the Red Bull Racing shop and just like trying to see who had stuff. Cause like in the past, my experience with, buying championship merch has been like, I don't know, like a Super Bowl shirt or something. Like as soon as the game's over, they are playing the ad that's like, right, you're like, go online to the NFL shop and you can buy all the locker room gear, right? So I'm like, it probably has to be the same thing. And I wasn't seeing anything at any of these other stores. So I went to Max's website and it immediately stuck me in a queue because the demand was so high, and it was maybe 5 minutes after the race. Like the post-race coverage was still going on. His car hadn't even gotten pulled into Park Ferme yet, and there were like 15,000 people on the website looking to buy Max Championship merch. And so I just waited. I just sat in the line. They were letting like 100 people through a minute, and so it was like 45 minutes to an hour before I got in. At which point I just went back to sleep. I just went back to sleep for like another 15 minutes. I just set an alarm and I was like, well, when I wake up, we'll see where I'm at. And then I woke up and I was at like 2,000. I was like, okay, great. But I really didn't want to do it on my phone because I was actively trying to watch the race on my phone. So I logged into my laptop and I was position 57,000. So I was like, I'm staying in on my phone probably. Yeah. So I got in, I bought merch. I really wanted the cap that he was wearing.
Yeah, that was cool. Mm-hmm.
But that one is getting sold through the Red Bull shop, and I think that they haven't put it on sale yet, or it's a pre-order or whatever it is, or it might have sold out and they're just putting more up. But
yeah, I looked the other day and it was sold out. Even though it's on pre-order, y'all.
Out, but then it was like coming soon or something. Like the status changed on it, so I'm waiting to see what happens with that. But I really liked that driver cap, and then I ended up with a hoodie from Max's collection, which I think is going to be super cool. And yeah, then the next day I spent a lot of money on Christmas gifts, and my bank account is not very happy with me right now.
Put on the credit card, baby. Got to rack up those points.
Yeah, my Southwest airline miles right now are going crazy.
Gonna need those for our little treats, as we explained.
Yeah, gonna need them for a special treat in July.
Oh yeah, it says here. It still says coming soon. Notify me when product launches. Out of stock.
Yeah, it was like they changed the status message on that or something. Because at first I was like, oh my god, it's sold out, and it was like, I think I got the email about it at 4:05 a.m. or something, and then when I signed on at 4:09 a.m., it was like out of stock. I'm like, wait a minute, I don't think that's possible. So they must have just been holding a pre-order and they've tagged it wrong. But I'm still hoping for one of those because that's a sweet looking cap.
I do like that. That's a great hat. I also like, we were talking about this too, like the championship logo, the M4X logo is also really neat. That's cool.
Super cool. I love when they can work that in and like integrate it into a person's name or even the way that like all the drivers do with their their initials and their numbers and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Or like Max's, how he's got the M and V that ends up, turning into the lion. Like they come up with some really cool stuff, the drivers on the grid.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. All right, well, that's a wrap on our Vegas Grand Prix recap. 2 more races left in the season. Constructors still up for grabs. 6th place in the constructors still up for grabs too. Hossie and Bio took back 6th from Alpine this weekend because Nico had a great drive and finished in the top 10. So Haas is at 50 and Alpine's at 49 right now. And Sauber, 0. Shout out to Joe, though. Joe had a great, I think he finished 12th, I think. Like he
did. I think he had a really good drive. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that's a wrap on that. One more little note about Formula One. The news dropped on Monday that we're getting an 11th team coming in 2026 from General Motors and Cadillac, along with the group formerly known as Andretti Global, or is called Andretti Global, but he's not an owner anymore. So he's kind of like he's not really a big part of it. It's mostly going to be like a factory team for General Motors and for Cadillac coming in 2026. They're going to use another engine partner for 2026 and 2027, and they're going to have their own engine built come 2028 is when expected when they're going to get an actual General Motors engine. So be on the lookout for that. That's great news. Super excited for that. Hopefully we get another American driver on the grid with another American team coming in. The rumors were previously when Andretti had announced that they were trying to get on the grid is that it would be a seat that was probably going to go to Colton Herta, who's currently in IndyCar driving for Andretti, and whose main sponsor is the now majority owner of like Andretti Global. Anyway, into the weeds there, but that's coming out. That's coming very, very soon. I thought it was funny. I sent you a message earlier where like there's like one of the big F1 podcasters was like, I don't know why. It was like, oh, we're getting 11th team. It's Cadillac. It's General Motors. Awesome. Followed by a tweet. It's like, oh, they should have a 12th team for Andretti. Like, no, you idiot. Do you actually read the news, or are you just there just to get your paddock passes? Anyway, because it's American, they don't give a crap. That's why they elitist F1
we've been griping about this all week. Is just the number of influencers that get tickets to things.
Yeah,
just because they make it their whole brand, and they're not necessarily full-time enjoyers of that thing.
Yes,
I'm like, shoot it. Well, I mean, didn't they say that with the F1 75 launch? It's like they had 18,000 tickets and like 17,775 were set aside for influencers. I'm like, really? Really? Come on.
Ridiculous. Formula One.
You're gonna get your publicity. You're gonna get your publicity, and you're gonna get possibly better publicity if you invite real fans that are excited about that thing.
Yes, I agree. I agree. So if you're listening, Formula One or anybody, let us come to one of your races next year.
Yeah, we would happily travel. Like we said,
I'll even put on Alpine. If Alpine, if you want us to come, I will wear Alpine gear. Okay.
I
will say nothing but good things about Toto Wolff if Mercedes asks us to come to a race.
We're gonna have to backtrack everything that you just said in this episode about Toto Wolff, but it'll be fine. It'll be fine. We do. We'll travel. We look forward to a little treat every 4 to 5 months. So,
yes.
Anytime next year, guys. We got you.
Exactly. All right. Moving on. During the race, like I said, I was at the theater.
Theater. You're a patron of the theater.
The theater, the visual arts, and so I decided to. This is crazy. There was a group. This is really hard to do, but like there was a group. I kid you not, there were 10 of us in our group to see this movie, which like never happens.
How do you get, as an adult, how do you get 10 people with jobs and lives in the same place at the same time? That is so hard.
At a Saturday at 10 o'clock at night.
That is so hard.
It's crazy. Like I like, and some of them I haven't seen in like forever because it is like it's so hard to like get people together and everything, and like a lot of them were at weddings that I wasn't invited to, but that's okay.
Dang.
Plus money for me to spend. Anyway, so yeah, we all went to see Gladiator 2. So that's what I was doing during the race, which you were texting me during the race, and the movie was kind of mid, which I'll get into in just a second. So I was like, so when you were texting me, I was legit I was like looking at my watch when you would text.
I was trying to send you infrequent updates with
Mhm.
really only the major events because I was like, if he's enjoying the movie right now, I don't want to be like talking his arm off on his Apple Watch over here. But if it's a bad movie, I feel like he should know that Lewis is cooking.
Yes, exactly. So thank you for that. Because usually I'll put it on like theater mode, so that way like at least doesn't like light up or anything, so it will buzz. But like, so I was like, oh, tap, okay, cool. Lewis is cooking like that. And so yeah, don't I would not recommend this movie.
Really?
No.
Shoot, I know you were excited about it. Well, I mean, a lot of people were
I
excited
was
about it.
super excited for it, and um, and it is like, especially in the 48 hours afterwards. And I've watched some like reaction shows to it and discussions about it, some podcasts and stuff like that. And all of it's exactly how I feel, which is like there was no reason for this movie to ever be made. Like Gladiator is legit.
No,
Like
there was a reason, and that reason is named Pedro Pascal, and that reason is named what's his name? Paul Mescal.
yeah,
They just saw those two and they were like, we got to put him in a Roman gladiator period piece for the people.
for the people. Anyway, yeah, the action sequences are great.
Yeah,
I will say that. Like the Coliseum stuff and the
do you have it logged on Letterboxd? Let me see
I do.
what you gave it. Okay.
Yeah. And Denzel Washington is incredible, as a lot of people have said, and it's true, and he's great, and he's probably the best thing about the movie.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, like Paul Mescal was fine, but like kind of uninteresting and not Russell Crowe, and he was like completely in the shadow of Russell Crowe like the entire time. The two emperors, the co-emperors.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at Chris's review of something on Letterboxd that just came
up. The two emperors were hilarious and went completely overboard, and one of them was played by Joseph Quinn. So, like, my main takeaway from this movie is it was completely unnecessary, and there was just no riz in the movie, like whatsoever. No riz. Movie with no riz. Just it was fine. It was fine. Watch it at home when it comes out on Paramount Plus.
It was Ohio. It was no riz. Skibbity Ohio. Holding space. That's my line.
So I gave it 3.5 stars. My main takeaway from this movie is that it got me really excited for Fantastic Four, because Joseph Quinn and Pedro Pascal are in Gladiator, and they were both pretty good. And so I was like, I just want to see Fantastic Four already. So 3.5 stars out of 5.
All right, there you go. I don't have anything to offer because I didn't see any movies this week. I only rewatched movies on the bus to my never-ending torment in Ohio this week. So I don't really have anything to offer. My brain hurts, my eyes hurt, my whole body hurts. I'm tired. We will recover.
You need some berry lemonade.
Yeah, some substance X or whatever it is.
I also saw a movie called Blitz. It's on Apple Plus.
Okay.
I actually really, really like this movie. I gave it 4.5 stars, I think.
Who's in it?
Saoirse Ronan is in the movie.
Okay. Saoirse Ronan.
And then like a bunch of like another guy, Harris Dickinson. I think he was in Iron Claw last year. But yeah, it's a World War II kind of survival movie. Not quite what I expected. Like, you think for a movie that takes place during the Blitzkrieg in London, you'd think it would be kind of like this, like, I don't know, really cool, like, almost like, thriller type war movie. And it's not that. It's like, it's a really interesting little like survival story. And that I really, really liked, and it was really well done, and it was great direction. And it was, I really liked it. And a lot of people don't, but I thought it was a really fun, cool little movie. So check it out if you get a chance.
All right. I'm not sure I still have an active Apple subscription. I should probably look and find that out. See if I'm paying money for that every month, and I don't remember that I have it. Whoops.
There's like, Apple's the one where it's like a lot of the shows and stuff they put out are pretty well received, but nobody ever talks about them, and they're just like,
there's not a lot of promo for them. They just kind of exist, and they're, from what I've heard critically, they're usually pretty good, but they just don't do promo very well.
Exactly. The one show I do like on there is Silo. Silo is terrific. Great.
I think my mom just said that she's watching that. It's the one that has Rebecca Ferguson from
Rebecca Ferguson.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she did tell me about that. Mm-hmm. I pay attention when people tell me things.
Yes.
Mom, I am listening to you when you call me. Just know that.
Good. Okay, so that's our movie review corner. Jordan has not watched any movies.
My only Letterboxd of the week is that I rewatched Glass Onion because Catherine Hahn, and it's still good.
I like that movie. Yeah.
Yeah. Still good. I don't think it's as good as Knives Out, but it was good. It was a decent sequel.
I'm excited for the third one, which I think is coming out next year. So the more Daniel Craig, the better.
Yeah, let him play that. Let him play Benoit Blanc with that accent for as long as he wants to do it. It's a little whimsy for him. Well, I do declare.
We can't. While we're talking about movies, we have to get to something that we teased at the very beginning of the program, ladies and gentlemen.
Huge for the program.
So that way we have the full context of which has come before. Let's go down here. Let's go over this way. Here we go. This is okay. So there are two things that have lived rent free in my head all week long. It is suitcase.
I love my suitcase. Every time I do that, I end up sounding like Mort from Madagascar. I love you, King Julian. Mort got us in a car wreck, and now I am paralyzed from the waist down, and I cannot move it.
God. Our show is so dumb, y'all.
I'm sleep deprived. Go away. Don't look at me.
Okay. So we have suitcase.
This. Somebody zoomed in on the image of Ariana Grande holding her one single finger.
Yes. So it's that, and it's also this video, which is just maybe the greatest video of the year. Let's take a walk, shall we?
I've seen this week people are taking the lyrics of Defying Gravity and really holding space with that and feeling power in that.
I didn't know that was happening.
I've seen it. Yeah.
That's really powerful.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Back to it.
I didn't know that was happening.
I've seen it on a couple posts. I don't know how widespread, but I am in queer media, so that's my.
It's really cool.
Yeah, I've seen.
That's enough.
Where do we even begin? All of the interviews with those two feel like they came from the Richie Flores school of getting transported from an alien planet to do recon on us. They all have such a strange vibe, and I can't put my finger on what it is, but it's something.
I agree. There was another one where like one of the interviewers makes a reference to something, and God, I can't remember what it is. And Aria just goes, I don't know what that is. I'm from Florida. I just like,
unreal. Yeah, there's
big Florida Panthers fan, Ariana Grande.
Didn't she? Isn't this lore that she rode the Zamboni when she was a kid?
She sang the national anthem.
She's also yeah. She's also, I think, like been on the Panthers Zamboni like multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, let me find this. I know this exists.
But
Yeah,
you're
there's a
right.
picture. If you Google it, there's a picture of a very young Ariana Grande. Oh my God, she got hit by a puck.
That's right. Yes.
She got hit by a puck twice, and then they put her on the Zamboni. It's 5-year-old fine after being struck second time.
This is pre-netting. They didn't have netting like all the around.
Yeah,
the rink and
that's
stuff.
true. This was I don't know how old Ariana Grande is. She's like roughly my age, right?
I think so. That sounds about right.
Yeah, she was 5 at their arena in 1998. So she's like 4 years older than me. No. Yes. I don't know. I'm not a math
Close
major.
enough. Everything's a blur.
Proceed. Time isn't real. Go ahead.
Everything's made up and the points don't matter.
Nothing matters.
Nothing matters. Anyway, I don't really have much more to say about that, other than we just needed to play on the show because it's way too funny.
We did. It's consuming social media, or at least the side of social media that we're both on, which is
Yes.
the exact same according to the algorithm. So that's good.
So there's that. Still undecided if I'm going to go see the movie or not. I don't think I am. I'm probably going to wait. It's supposed to, I think it'll be on like Peacock, I think. So I'm probably going to wait until it comes out on Peacock and watch it on there.
Yeah, I got a text from somebody last week that knows me personally and my brand and was like, "Are you in town? Because I want to see Wicked." And I was like, "No, I'm about to leave to go to Ohio for a week." So that will not be a theater experience for me. Although I've not made good on my promise to go to the theater for things because I told you I was going to the theater for We Live in Time, and I never made it to that before they took it out of my local theater. So that will be a DVD wait for me, or a streaming wait for me.
Yeah, I will say this though, when we went to go see Gladiator, there was people coming out of Wicked, and there were some witches there, and they had some witches hats. I was like, oh,
some witches. Love that. Love that.
I was like, oh, I wonder what movie they were seeing.
Yeah, don't know. They were I love those, by the way, that are the videos that are like 2 tickets for what movie, please? And then they like pan around and they're painted green, and it's like just it's very funny.
I didn't really look into the story, but there was a story where a woman showed up in green makeup and the theater told her that she wasn't allowed to enter the premises.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, don't quote me on that,
Like,
but I saw it on TikTok.
I know they don't let you wear, like, as a former theater employee, I know they don't let you wear like costumes or like anything with a mask or anything like that, but I don't know why being painted green would prevent you from being included in the movie going experience.
I don't know either. I just know that poor lady who tread the green makeup and like
yeah, she spent all that time painting herself green and then couldn't go. It was like, okay, well, can I see Red 1 at least? Like,
I've never wanted to see a movie less, and that's that movie.
oh, I know, I know.
And we both like Chris Evans, right? But like,
we do, yeah. But he's really out here just staying employed. He went to the Rock School of Staying Employed, which is saying yes to all these quirky little gimmick movies.
It's so true. I was talking with one of my friends when we were at Gladiator, and they had the trailer on, like, you know, in the lobby, and they have the trailers on the screens.
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking about Red 1, and I was like, the Rock is just like not a good actor, and Dave Bautista, also of WWE fame, is just like 100 times better as an actor than the Rock will be.
The Rock is fine, but you have to put him in a very specific environment. Like he was kind of okay in Jumanji, but like I don't know if you ever saw Jungle Cruise with him and Emily Blunt, but that was more of a depth role, and it didn't really work as well for him, whereas like Dave Bautista has been in all kinds of stuff that is deeper acting, and he's able to do it. I want to see. I want to see the one that's coming out soon. I think with him, that is the one where he accidentally hires an assassin to kill him, because he thinks that he's dying of some terminal illness, right? And so he like puts out a hit on himself, and then they call him back, and they're like, "Yeah, that wasn't actually for you. You're fine." And so now he's got all these hitmen coming after him.
I'm not familiar with that one.
Really? Oh, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, here we go. Oh, here it is right here. It's called The Killer's Game.
Yeah.
Killer's Game. It's got actually a pretty good cast. It's got Terry Crews in it. It's got Ben Kingsley is in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it's like they tell him he has, I don't know, it's some terminal illness, but he's like, well, then somebody just come kill me. But then they're like, you're not actually dying, and he's got a hit out on himself, and you can't take that back. So,
right.
Sounds
cool premise. Cool premise.
Yeah.
I will say I was sold on him as an actor. He's great as Drax. Don't get me wrong, but when he was in Blade Runner 2049 in a very, very small role, nailed it. That was so he was perfect in that movie. He was great. I was actually thinking about Blade Runner 2049 today because I was watching another podcast where they were talking about like the best legacy sequels, and they did their rankings.
Did you liked Blade Runner 2049, right?
I loved it.
Critically, I think that was kind of mixed, but I did like it.
It is like, for me, it's still like that's 4.5, bordering on 5 territory for me. I love that movie. It is so good. Ryan Gosling is incredible in that movie. He's absolutely incredible. Jared Leto. I wish they would have cast somebody else beside Jared Leto, but that's beside the point.
You could say that about a lot of movies. So
yeah, exactly. Anyway, so I was like thinking about that, and it did not make any of their lists. They did like a top 5 legacy sequel rankings, and that did not make any of their lists. I was like, really? Justice for Blade Runner 2049, Denis Villeneuve. All right, let's see what else we got here. We'll do this. We had our on sale for San Diego Comic-Con for 2025. And we did it. Somehow made it happen.
You did it. I did nothing. You did it. Richie is, I think he's earning space. He's holding space for himself as the designated ticket buyer for events, because he managed to get us JB tickets despite massive demand, and managed to get us a day of San Diego Comic-Con tickets despite massive demand, and open registration, not returning.
Yes.
Which is crazy. So for those of you who don't know, just briefly, without getting too much into the weeds on it, but like whatever your first time attending San Diego Comic-Con is, you have to go through open registration, which is for everybody that has ever had interest in buying tickets. If you manage to get them, the next year you get access to closed registration, I'm assuming, but it's for previous attendees. So last year's attendees get a sale ahead of the everybody else pool. So theoretically, your odds are better if you attend consecutive years in a row, because you're not fighting the rest of the masses who are trying to get tickets for the first time, or from, a couple years not attending, or whatever it may be. So the pool is giant of people trying to get open registration tickets, and they sell out very quickly. And Friday and Saturday of the event usually sell out first, because those are the most popular days to attend, and then you are fighting for what's left, essentially. And Richie did it. He managed to sit in line for like an hour, roughly.
About an hour,
and secure seats, which is crazy, because for anything else, if you were in line for an hour, you would be SOL. There would be nothing left.
I didn't think I'd get anything. I thought I was going to be completely shut out. I just barely missed out on Saturday by like 2 minutes. Would have gotten 2 minutes earlier. Would have been on Snake Saturday.
It
too.
was close because I was following along with some of the Twitter accounts that were doing updates and stuff, and I got like the Saturday inventory is running low tweet that pinged through about the same time that you said that you were close to being in. And I was doing nothing because I was on a bus headed to my job for the 30,000th hour that week. So I was just sitting there, just minding my own business, just waiting for a text from you that'd be like, well, we struck out, or well, we got something. And pleasantly we got something. So we'll be there.
Yeah, and the cool thing about like Sunday is like kind of like the chill day. So like you probably get better deals on like some stuff in the main hall because they're trying to sell stuff, which will be nice.
That's always been my experience, is that they don't want to pack all that stuff up and bring it home, so they sometimes do a decent discount on things just so they don't have to pack them out again.
And a lot of people, they don't do all 4 days because it's super expensive, and so like Sunday is usually like not the busiest day in the world. So that would be cool. And then we can always do like the surrounding offsites and whatnot on Saturday, and we don't need a badge for that. So should be top notch. And then it just I can't recall them ever doing this, but the Padres are in town the Monday after as well. Monday, which I didn't think they usually are because the Petco is being used during Comic-Con week, so they're gone, or it's All-Star week or whatever. And so they have to I'm surprised they're going to be able to like take everything out of Petco, which is normally being used, and then turn it back.
There's usually an offsite or two at Petco. Or there has been in the year that I went. There definitely was. And events and things like that. Or I think when Conan used to do his live shows there, he would do them like at Petco or something. So it's going to be a heck of a turnaround for that event staff, but they're going to do it. The Mets are in town on Monday the 28th.
So we get to get Jordan out to her first Padres game at Petco Park, which is crazy.
Not my first time going, but my first time actually being able to be inside the building, because last time was COVID.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was brutal. It was brutal. I was standing at the gates like that meme of that old lady that's like climbed up on the fence, like shaking it, just being like, let me in.
True. So that's coming up in July. One last thing before we get out of here. We have we got the news on Monday that it is the retirement of one of our favorite U.S. women's national team players, Alyssa Naeher, Uncle, as she was nicknamed by her teammates back in the day. She announced that she is calling it a career as far as her tenure with the U.S. women's national team. She's going to continue as a club player in the WSL. She got 2 more matches left coming up over the next couple weeks here, and that's it for the 2019 World Cup winner. Terrific in the 2023 Women's World Cup as well. I do have a quick little video to share, which is Alyssa Naeher on Snacks explaining how she got the nickname Uncle. Because I was curious, and it's actually it makes sense. So here
Question: Steph started that when she was here in Chicago. She started it because she would always call me when like she needed something, to either her car broke down or she needed to hang up a picture or like didn't have any like stuff. For better or for worse, I was like always available and always willing to come over and like help her with whatever it was that she needed. So she started calling me Uncle, and I fought it for a long time. I was like, I don't really love this. Like, this isn't not my favorite. And I was like, you know what? Nicknames are endearing. I'll kind of like, it wasn't going anywhere. So I just kind of embraced it.
That's like it's like a compliment though.
So there you go. The end of Uncle's tenure. And the unfortunate part about this too is like you and I were talking about this earlier, is all of like the legends of the women's national team are retiring. So I brought up the 2019 roster only 5 years ago. And here who is no longer on the roster anymore. Obviously Pino, Alex Morgan, Tobin Heath, Julie Ertz, Sam Mewis, Kelly O'Hara, Abby Dahlkemper, Crystal Dunn, and Becky Sauerbrunn are still around. They're still playing, obviously. And then Kristen Press, Carly Lloyd, ugh, don't like her, among others. But
She's on my
turning-
list of enemies.
turning of the guard for the women's national team. So we still have Triple Espresso. We still have Naomi Girma. But sad to see Alyssa, Uncle Naeher,
Uncle. Yeah.
move on from the women's national team.
That's gonna be tough because I feel like we've always had very dependable goaltending, like in the era of Hope Solo as well, and you never really had to worry that Alyssa Naeher was gonna do something silly and be out of position, or she was making big saves pretty much every game I was watching. So that's
And scoring
gonna be a rough
goals too,
transition.
as she
And
did
scoring goals.
in the 2023
Yes.
World Cup.
Yes, which is insane. That's Allison Becker behavior, but yeah, we'll miss Uncle. This team is going to be rough to watch in this transition period, I feel. Triple Espresso is good, but from the middle to the defense, we have some issues, perhaps.
Right.
Not Naomi
all right,
Girma, though. You're great. Yeah.
Yes. Yep. All right. That's gonna, I think, put a wrap on the program for today. Enjoy your Thanksgiving, everybody. Whatever you humans may be eating on your table, whether that be turkey or salami or ham.
The substance. Yeah.
Substance. All right. Follow us on the internet and whatnot, and we'll be back next week. Bye, everybody.